Well, look at what just arrived from Hong Kong today. My 6970M. On the left is my 4850 card. On the right is my newly purchased 6970M, which arrived from Hong Kong. The card on the right, you can see, does not come with this frame, which is very important to have for the mounting on the iMac, without which you're not going to be able to install it. So keep that in mind if you purchase a card and for some reason don't have one of these. Obviously, if you have your video card already, you should have it, and you just a matter of moving it over to the new card because the holes are the same. And here's the front side. You can see why the 6970M is thicker, because it has 3 heat pipes versus the 2 heat pipes of the 4850. Both cards have the temperature sensor with the same connector. Stacking the two cards on top of each other, we see they have the same footprint, of course. The place where the cutting must take place is this plastic piece here, into which there's a wire harness that fits. This is the optical drive over here. And this little gap for this wire harness needs to be made wider. This protrusion on the 6970M is the reason why cutting is necessary. We can see that here, even the heat pipes, it's all flush. Nothing sticks up. But on here, this part sticks up, and is why we need to cut a bit of that plastic out. Now you'll see some scratch marks here. Just above those scratch marks is about where that plastic piece comes. So you're not going to hit the sensor, even though the sensor is a little bit higher on here. It'll just barely come between. I might need to move these wires down a bit, but basically it's going to come here. You can see I made some line marks here. This is where that plastic piece, it comes in between these two lines. And so you can see it comes right, if it's just right below these little parts that stick out on the heatsink. So again, here's the optical drive. Here's the plastic piece that we need to widen and deepen to push this harness towards the back. Now you'll need some kind of a cutting tool like this to make it easy, and there's really not a lot of need to accurately measure it. Basically, if you take a ½ centimeter, even if you go a centimeter, it really doesn't matter. Cutting off a centimeter of it, I would say all you really need is maybe a ½ centimeter to remove on this side, and ½ centimeter, 5 millimeters on this side, just a little bit. It's better to err on the side of cutting more. You're really not going to do anything bad, and so that would be the first step. You just want to make sure that you don't cut into any of the wires that are here, and unless you just pull everything off, it's really best to leave the wires in place as you see here. So with my cutting tool, cut there. Cut there. Now I've cut it out, and you can see, you know, it didn't take too much effort. A little plastic piece fell down in there, but it's not going to hurt anything. There's these little there's like a soft cushion around it, and it falls to pieces when you try to get off. So I suppose you could put electrical tape, but tape like that usually comes off. Usually something soft to go over that area would be good, but if I feel around in the back, well, yeah, just some tape of some type, just to make sure you don't have anything cutting into these wires if it gets pressed against. Well, I found something even better than tape, just something soft actually you can wrap around it. I never used this. I got so many microfiber cloths. This is just another one. And I'm gonna wrap him around like so. And you might say, well, how are you gonna stick him on there? The answer is wire ties. I've got some wire ties to hold him on there. Again, this is just to, you know, you can use tape. I would say better than normal shiny tape is European style. You Europeans probably call it something else, but European style electrical tape is what you often find in cars. It's a little bit fuzzy. It's not normal slick type of electrical tape. I'd say if you have some of that, use that. Or again, if you have a tiny microfiber cloth you never use, just something soft. Want to just protect him if he gets pressed against that, and that will do the job. Don't make these wire ties too tight. And snip off the excess. And turn the head around so he doesn't touch the card. Okay. And again, the connector for the video card is not this connector, but it's on the opposite side, the back side. Make sure your cable is not behind, it has to be in front like this. And all my holes line up now. That's the way you know you've got him fitted into that connector back there, is if you can see the holes behind, or the screw slots behind the holes. And I see that one up here. So then it's just a matter of getting that connector in here, which is always the hard part. So here's the notoriously difficult and bothersome connector. If you've got a pair of tweezers, that's how I was able to fit him in there. And there's a little bit of tension in that cable there, so it kind of helps you. And he's not fully fitted in yet. So what I do is I just put 2 fingers around him and then pull him forward. Bump. And there he is. Yep. He's fully seated in that connector. I didn't have to unscrew the motherboard or anything. Okay. And also this connector, this cable goes here. And if you don't get it connected right, you're going to lose your Wi-Fi. So if you ever plug it back in, you don't have Wi-Fi, it's probably this cable here. As opposed to the other end. It's this end, because it doesn't really lock in there and make good contact. So just watch out for this. If you lose Wi-Fi, this is the guy. That's a culprit. And of course, on the front side here, towards you, this connector is where we got to put on one of the it says LCD temperature. We got to plug that in. And don't forget that before you put everything back together. I must admit I'm a bit scared to turn it on. I just, this is the first time using a non-standard video card. Well, we're going to find out if I've been lied to. It's the moment of truth, the smoke test. So here we go. I hear the fans. I hear the bong and the screen came on. Boy, I'm sweating now. Is it going to freeze? Is it going to boot? What's it going to do? Apple logo, that's a good sign. I get the progress bar. It's going. Oh man. 6970M, folks, in this late 2009 iMac 27-inch i7. Oh, is it going to boot to the desktop? What's going to happen? What is going to happen here? Well, this test is showing we do, in fact, get a boot screen. So I've heard that some people are using non-standard NVIDIA cards and they don't get a boot screen. So we get that with this card. By the way, I have High Sierra on an SSD inside this iMac, just so, to let you know the OS. And it booted to the desktop. Look at that. Look at that. Well, you look at that, folks. It booted to the desktop. Now, of course, that's what I expected it to do for paying $265 and getting that. That includes the express mail shipping from Hong Kong, but my goodness. Oh, what a glorious sight it is. What a glorious sight it is. Now, I'm going to check my menu bar. I got the Apple menu about this Mac. And it's saying here, High Sierra, 10.13.6, 27-inch late 2009 processor, 2.8 gigahertz Core i7, 16 gigabytes of memory. And by the way, I have 1.333 gigahertz DDR3 memory in here. I've heard that some people aren't getting that to work on Mac rumors, but I was able to get this. This RAM is a little bit speedier than what shipped originally with this iMac, but it's worked fine for me for years. But here's the moment of truth. Graphics, AMD Radeon HD 6970M with 2 gigabytes of memory. Look at that. Look at that. So it's registering the correct video card. I mean, it should, but thank goodness. Wow. Now, in the top menu bar, folks, this is SMC fan control. And the temperature it shows is the CPU, so it says 39 degrees Celsius. And over here, I've got iStat, so it's a separate application, but it's also saying 39 on the left because 39 degrees is the CPU temperature, so both are showing the same. And then 34 degrees is the GPU. So I have CPU 38 degrees, 34 degrees. This is Celsius, folks, not Fahrenheit. And these temperatures are low, by the way. Now, I just booted it up, so it's not, we shouldn't read too much into that. And of course, you can see the CPU and GPU graphs. Well, we're kind of zoomed out. You won't be able to see it too well, but basically, we're not doing anything right now. So let's run some preliminary tests with you watching. I know you'd probably prefer to be zoomed in a bit, but I will just keep it zoomed out. And maybe the first test we can do Cinebench R15 will allow us to do OpenGL. So we'll run that. OpenGL to test the video card frames per second. And to be honest, I haven't run this on my 4850 in a long time, so I can't remember what it was. So I don't know how useful those tests will be, but it will tell us in a few moments the FPS, frames per second, it's getting off of the card. And iStat menus is showing just very little CPU and even very little GPU activity. The temperatures are going up, but still haven't crossed 40 yet. CPU's at 36, GPU's at 38. By the way, all my fans, I have all 3 fans set at 2000 RPM. So that's been going on for the past couple years, or 2 years and 10 months now. And it's saying 59.77 FPS. So that is really for gaming, that's what you want. You want 60 frames per second. And it's giving here on the ranking, it's saying the 6970M is faster than the 5770, which it should be. It's saying also this GPU is 2.8 gigahertz, the 6970M. And it's just a hair slower than the 3.3 gigahertz GeForce GTX 460 PCIe. And it's about 3 frames per second slower than the AMD Radeon R9 M370X. So the performance overall isn't too bad. All right, so we did that. And by the way, the temperatures for this test, it was a short test, but they didn't go beyond 40. We will not save. What else? We got Geekbench 4. We can use the CPU, no. GPU, yes. Compute test the GPU, and it's showing AMD Radeon HD 6970M. OpenCL, that's the only one we can choose. We'll go ahead and run it. And I'm looking at my temperatures, 36 degrees Celsius for the GPU. It's going up a little bit, 37 degrees now. 38 degrees Celsius. I'm looking at iStat menus up here. 32 degrees for the CPU, so this is really focused on the GPU, clearly. Still has not hit 40 yet. By the way, whether you're running a 4850 video card or a 6970 like I am now, I would suggest that you increase your fan speed as I am, just to keep continuous airflow through all the fans, through all parts of your iMac. Keeping all three set to 2000 RPM minimum, I think is a prudent move. It's not going to guarantee your bake is going to last longer because, again, my bake 2 years and 9 months, that was with the fans running at that 2000 RPM speed. All three fans, by the way. But it will keep your internals cooler. iStat menus is showing 40 degrees Celsius now for the GPU. CPU is 31 degrees because, again, this is the compute benchmark which focuses on the GPU. 41 degrees for the GPU. And there you go, it gets a 9875. 9875. So, your device compared to an AMD Radeon R9 Fury. I don't think we want to compare with those. Let's see. What is it comparable to? It's faster than the Intel HD Graphics 4000. It's faster than the NVIDIA Quadro K600. Not as fast as Intel HD Graphics 520 though. But those are more recent. Now here it says ATI Radeon HD 5870. But I guess that's the desktop version of the card. Remember, you have mobile cards here in the iMac. All right, well, we did this Geekbench 4 test. What else should we do, folks? Firewire target, disk mode. I don't have my connectors, so I'm not going to do that on this video for you. But we can do single user mode. We'll reboot and hold down Command S to get into the single user mode. You know, that's where we get the text on the screen. And we can type in FSCK-FY to is it going to do it here? Yep, it did it. So you get a bunch of text scrolling on your screen, and it's a command line basically. So yeah, it even says it here. You can get FSCK-FY to check your disk. That takes a while, so I'm not going to do that. Then it says to boot the system, you type exit. So I just wanted to run this test to show you that even with this video card, you can do the same things you could do with the stock card. EXIT return. And it takes a little bit of time, but it will eventually boot from this screen. Again, this is single user mode. You press and hold Command and S keys when you're restarting to get into this command line screen. So once we reboot, the next tests we should do to make sure things are working properly is restart with Command R held down. And what that will do is boot into the recovery partition, which all of you have since you have Macs, well, more recent versions of Mac OS, including this version of High Sierra. It will allow you to run disk utility and other things. So I will restart again and wait a little bit before I push Command R. Now I did Command S, so that's why it's got text dumped on the screen here. It's nothing to worry about. All right, so now I'm going to press and hold Command R. Okay. Now when you do this, unfortunately, even on a fast SSD, it takes time. But I'll speed it up so you don't have to wait. What do you know? It boots into recovery. So I'm not going to do disk utility. I'm just going to launch it to show you it works. And it does. And it's showing I got my hard disk here. It's formatted APFS because it's this SSD. And you know, you can also reinstall Mac OS from this, restore from a time machine backup. That's what recovery is used for. So I'll go ahead and restart out of here. And obviously there are other tests that I need to run, but these are the basics to show that this video card is just as compatible as my stock 4850 card was. And there we have it, folks. The 6970M video card really does work great in this particular iMac. So I didn't get ripped off after all. If you'd like to know the seller from eBay that I used to purchase this card, who apparently still has more, I will offer a link in the text description below this video so you can check that out. And of course I will continue to update this, well, the text description, and maybe put a pinned comment down to keep everyone informed about how my additional testing is going, and of course the longevity that I get out of this card. Please post comments down below if you'd like to ask any questions. And well, I'm extremely pleased with the result, as you can see on my face. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel. And I do, as I've said all along in these videos, respond to each and every comment. So if you have questions or concerns, just let me know. But again, before you purchase a new video card, I would strongly suggest you do the bake. So check my other videos on that. I did not cover all the details of disassembly and reassembly in this video. You'll need to check my first and second bake videos for that. This video is just basically saying after a certain number of bakes, my 4850 would no longer work. I bought this video card to replace it, and I'm extremely pleased with the results so far. So thank you again for watching, and I wish all of you a safe and wonderful day.